This would normally be an introduction, but since the only people who read intros are book critics and English majors, I'm making it part of the first chapter because it's kind of important. When Steve Nelson and Jack Rawlins wrote the song Frosty the Snowman back in 1950, it's doubtful they had heard the actual legend from which the song appears to be based. Of course, they couldn't have known that their little winter song would see people comparing Frosty to Jesus either. Frosty the Snowman is a Jesus figure? Unlikely, I know, but just look it up. Like finding the image of a saint burned into a piece of toast, I guess the mind can go anywhere it damn pleases, and on social media, it pleases to do so. I was told the story by an old man many years ago. He cautioned me not to name him or any of my kin until me and mine are all in the grave. Thanks to an incapacitated 17-year-old driver, incapacitated, not drunk, because he had a good lawyer and a father with state-level connections, the old man was able to outlive his wife and 3 children going on 22 years now. Now 86 years old, he lives in a cabin built by his father years before, 10 miles or so south of the Canadian border. Again, to honor our bond, I won't say which state he spends his remaining days in. Truth be told, I wish I'd never heard the legend. Chapter 1A. It wasn't just the hat that was magic, you know, like in the song, the one they put on the snowman's head that brought him to life. It was the entire outfit. The cold chunks for eyes, the button nose, and don't forget the scarf, which is not mentioned in the song, but Frosty would be absolutely naked without it. In the original legend, the one I passed down by the native speakers from a tribe long since dispersed or made extinct, the life-giving garments were similar to what would have been considered everyday wear among the common people. Hats made of fur, buckskin shirts and leggings, soft deerskin moccasins were everyday wear. Decorated with beadwork, typically beads made from hollow porcupine quills strung together in ornate patterns, and affixed to finer wear for special occasions, what some people today call Sunday go-to-meeting clothes, were also part of the typical wardrobe. Somewhere along the line, 100 or more years before the first Europeans set foot into the American forest, a shaman, angered over some slight that has been lost to history, created a stick figure of a giant wolf and brought it to life by draping it in his best costume, each piece enchanted with spells passed on to him from his ancestors. The wolf he created, more than 10 feet at the shoulder, fleshed out when the shaman placed his own headgear on the stick figure, and each night would stalk the camp and claim a new victim for his master. The story goes on to tell of a brave warrior, one who lost his sister to the beast, fashioned a sacred arrowhead from a special stone he wore as an amulet, passed on to him from his father, who in turn was blessed with the stone from his father, and so on, father to son, and so eventually to the young warrior. It was a piece of sunstone, used by the Northmen who crossed the ocean centuries earlier, so called because looking through the sunstone, one could see the sun shining through a thick cloud cover. Maybe not magic, but certainly special, since it had belonged to his ancestors. The young man, whose name has also been lost to history, took the shipping stones, wrapped them in a deerskin pouch, and carried them to a secret spot he knew, a boulder hidden from the river by birch and beech trees, where the river curved away from the shore in a light rapids. It was there, seated on a natural bench where the rock had cleaved, one side sinking down a foot or more than the other, that he sat and chipped away at the cloudy crystalline stone. In a few hours, his expert hands had fashioned an arrowhead, one that glinted in the sunlight as he held it up and approved his handiwork. He affixed this arrowhead to a white cedar shaft, one that many he had ready, cut from samplings and selected for their strength and straightness. Using fire and a large angular stone, he heated the shaft where it was not straight and bent it over the various angles to make the shaft straight and true. Cutting a notch in the tip of the shaft, he inserted the special arrowhead and wound thin, wet strips of wet buffalo rawhide stretched tight. As the rawhide dried, it shrunk, binding the arrowhead tight to the shaft. The warrior took most of the day to construct his special arrow, and he had not partaken of food since noon of the day before. Normally, before taking on such a quest, he would fast for 3 days, praying for guidance and strength, and no little amount of courage. But the beast was killing one person from his tribe every night, and there was no time to prepare the way he had been taught. Tonight, either he or the beast would die. Either way, his courage would be recounted for generations to come.